The Catholic Church's 1968 Humanae Vitae wasn't just about birth control, it was the first major religious document to predict how reproductive technology might fundamentally reshape human relationships in society.
That timing really stands out right in the middle of the sexual revolution, when birth control pills were becoming widely available. What made this document so controversial for its time?
Well, it's fascinating because Pope Paul VI went against what many expected. His own advisory commission had recommended allowing artificial contraception, but he took this bold stance, arguing that separating the unitive and procreative aspects of marriage would have profound negative consequences.
And some of those predictions about societal impacts seem eerily prescient.
That's exactly what makes this document so interesting to examine from our modern perspective. He warned about increased marital infidelity, declining moral standards, and even government overreach in reproductive matters. Like, for instance, he specifically mentioned concerns about authorities imposing birth control measures on populations.
The way he frames it as a matter of human ecology is pretty striking, suggesting that tampering with natural processes could have these unforeseen ripple effects throughout society.
And what's really compelling is how he connects these intimate personal decisions to larger societal impacts. There's this key passage where he writes that married couples collaborate freely and responsibly with God the Creator in transmitting human life. He's essentially arguing that these aren't just private choices.
Though he does seem to acknowledge the real-world challenges people face, the economic pressures, the housing conditions, the difficulties of raising large families.
Oh, absolutely, and that's where the document shows remarkable pastoral sensitivity. He specifically instructs priests to combine the teaching authority of the Church with patience and mercy. There's this recognition that upholding principles doesn't mean ignoring human struggles.
So what do you make of his distinction between artificial contraception and natural family planning methods?
Well, that gets to the heart of his philosophical argument. He's suggesting there's something fundamentally different about working within natural rhythms versus technological intervention. It's like the difference between sailing with the wind versus powering through it. Both get you somewhere, but they represent very different relationships with nature.
The document really seems to anticipate these broader bioethical discussions we're having now about genetic engineering and reproductive technologies.
That's such an important point. While many focus on the contraception aspect, the document's deeper questions about limits on technological intervention in human reproduction feel more relevant than ever. Like when he writes about man's stupendous progress in the domination and rational organization of the forces of nature.
And yet he's not anti-technology. He actually encourages scientific research into natural family planning methods.
Right? He's trying to chart this middle course between embracing progress and preserving what he sees as essential human values. And you know what's fascinating? Instead of accepting contraception as the answer to population concerns, he calls for economic and social development to address poverty and resource distribution.
The document really challenges our modern assumption that more control always equals more freedom and happiness.
Looking at it from today's perspective, Humanae Vitae represents this crucial moment when religious tradition confronted technological progress head-on. Whether one agrees with its conclusions or not, it raised fundamental questions about human nature and technology that we're still wrestling with today.
And as our capabilities continue to expand, these questions about limits and boundaries become even more crucial.
In the end, that might be the document's most enduring legacy, not its specific teaching on contraception, but its broader framework for thinking about how technological progress intersects with human dignity and flourishing. These aren't just Catholic questions, they're human questions that grow more pressing with each new technological advance.